I'm Jessica Brevoort, and this is Kitchen Table Productions, a show all about living well with low carb. Now today I'm going to show you a wonderful low carb shrimp dip that's great for parties. Now this recipe originally came from a friend of my Aunt Linda's. I'm not sure where she got it, but it is wonderful. It became an instant family favorite, and I'm going to show you how to make it right now. Okay, now I'm starting with 2 8-ounce bricks of cream cheese. I'm just going to roughly kind of cut them up to get more surface area. Just a couple of quick chops. Neatness doesn't count here. There we go. I'm going to put them in this bowl, just like that, and put this over a pot, over medium-high boiling water, and I'm just going to let this melt until it gets nice and creamy. There's my pot. Off it goes. Okay, now while my cream cheese is melting, I'm going to get ready all the other ingredients. I have here 2 4-ounce cans of tiny cooked shrimp. They're already cooked, they're already peeled. I'm just going to drain them. And I've got under here one of the cans because I want to save a little bit of this juice. There we go. I'll just let that drain in the meanwhile. Turn my side on the vegetables. Okay, next I have 1 medium tomato. This one is nice and ripe. You can tell by smelling the tomato, and if it smells like a tomato plant, then you know you've got one that's going to have some nice flavor to it. If it doesn't smell like anything at all, it's not going to have any flavor. Now, admittedly, the smell of the tomato plant is not exactly one of the most lovely of smells, not the most appetizing, but it is a good indication of the flavor of the tomato. Next, I'm just going to cut off the top of this. So you got the lovely seeds in here. I'm actually going to squeeze most of these seeds out just right into my sink. The seeds can be kind of bitter, kind of hard. You don't really need that in our dip. Not the prettiest method, but it's certainly effective. Now I'm just going to give this a nice dice. Because this is for a dip, I want the pieces to be pretty small. You have to be able to fit on a chip or a nice vegetable. There we go, that's pretty good. My next ingredient is 1 small onion. Again, I'm going to dice this very finely. It's important to remember when working with onions and tomatoes that they are borderline vegetables. They have a fair amount of carbs in them. So you only want to use very small amounts per serving. There. And my onion dice is looking pretty good. I will add this to the tomatoes. I have 3 types of peppers. I've got about 8 rings or so of banana peppers, 4 rings of jalapenos, and 3 cherry peppers. Now I'm using all canned peppers. That's usually fine for this application. If you can find fresh, by all means go ahead and do so. But since this is a dip, generally speaking, the canned peppers work just fine. And again, I'm going to give them a nice fine dice, just like I did with the tomatoes and the onions. Squeeze out these seeds. Also, just like I did for the tomatoes, just give them a squeeze. Most of them will come right out there. There's a fair amount of heat there, which is nice, but the seeds themselves are just kind of hard and not very enjoyable. Just like with the tomatoes and onions. I'm going to cut this very finely. Beautiful. Now my final ingredient is 2 cloves of garlic. Now I've already peeled and cut off the ends of these. I'm just going to take them, put my knife flat against the thing, use just my heel. I don't want any fingers hitting this edge. Smash it down. Nice good smash will get most of your fine dicing done for you. So yummy looking. That is just beautiful. See how gorgeous that is? We're not even done yet. When I take my 2 cans of shrimp, I'm going to add that in as well. And about 2 tablespoons or so of my shrimp juice. I'm just going to eyeball that. All I got to do now is add this to my melted cream cheese. Alright, my cheese looks mostly melted now. There's a few small tiny lumps, but that's okay. That'll just mix right in. Now I'm just going to add all my other ingredients, my tomatoes and onions and shrimp and peppers. Right in it goes. I'm just going to heat this now until all those ingredients are just barely heated through. Doesn't that look great? Now this dip is best served warm, so if you have a crock pot style dip warmer, go ahead and use that. Now I can practically hear you asking, what do I dip into it? Well, I like using pork rinds myself. You could use cauliflower or broccoli or any sort of other low-carb vegetable dipping thing. Now, if you've got non-low-carbers around, go ahead and give them Fritos. Those work great with this. If you add a little cream to this, thin it out a bit, it makes a wonderful sauce for pork and chicken as well. There you have it, simple and delicious. I hope you try this at your next party. It is a guaranteed crowd pleaser. Now, one tip I can give you for making your dip as great as possible, don't use the non-fat, low-fat, reduced-fat varieties of cream cheese. They're not going to melt right, and they're going to have more carbs than the regular variety. And you need all that fat in there to make it nice and gooey and delicious. You may also have noticed I didn't use any gloves while cutting up my peppers. This isn't through any bravado on my part, and certainly not lack of a fear of peppers. But most kitchen gloves tend to be made of latex, and a lot of people have latex allergies nowadays. So unless you know that everybody at your party is completely free of latex allergy, it's best not to risk it. If that is the case, however, you could use a vinyl glove as well. They are available in the stores, but they are a little more expensive. Well, I hope we've inspired you to try this dip. For this recipe and many others, please visit our website, kitchentableproductions.net. I'm Jessica Brevort, and this has been Kitchen Table Productions.